everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Jennifer Kent, Senior Director of Research at Parks Associates. And there's so many angles to the rise of voice control and intelligent voice assistants across industries in the past 5 years or so. So what I'm going to focus on today is how voice has really emerged as an important interface in the home and in many verticals that intersect with the home. So we'll assess the consumer experience with voice control in relation to the connected products and services they use and what new voice-enabled products, features, and services consumers are looking for. So before we dive in, I wanted to introduce you to Parks Associates. If you aren't familiar with us, we are a market research and consulting firm focused on emerging consumer technology markets. For over 30 years, we've studied the smart home, residential security, home automation, connected entertainment products, consumer electronics, entertainment services. And each year we publish syndicated research, which takes the form of industry reports, consumer studies, market trackers, product and service market sizes and forecasts. And we also do a large segment of our business is custom work, whether that be custom research studies, consulting, strategic advisory services, custom workshops, that sort of thing. We also have a series of executive events focused specifically on consumer IoT and entertainment topics. So we're hyper-focused on the connected consumer lifestyle and the companies, products, and services that serve the connected consumer. So let me start off today saying that the sheer variety of ways that consumers can now use their voice to control products or access information or engage in some activity has expanded dramatically in the past 5 years. So what started off as smartphone-based solutions with Siri and Google now Google Assistant, expanded to smart speakers with Amazon Alexa, right? And has now further expanded with proprietary solutions from Samsung with Bixby, proprietary solutions from Comcast with its Xfinity voice-controlled remote. And even these branded proprietary voice solutions, the form factors that these companies have expanded into is increasing, right? So these companies have brought to market smart speakers, smart displays, streaming media players that are voice controlled, smart TVs that are voice controlled, set-top boxes that are voice controlled. And then from these core proprietary voice solutions, a whole ecosystem of voice-enabled devices from third parties is now in the market. Some companies build voice assistants directly into their products. So entertainment products like whole home audio systems from Sonos, safety products like the First Alert smoke and carbon monoxide detector. It's a smart CO and smoke detector that has voice built right into it. Smart thermostats like those from Ecobee, smart lighting products that you can control with your voice from Brilliant, smart TVs from LG. All of these companies and all of these different device types now have voice assistance and voice control baked right into them from these core proprietary solutions. Other companies take a works with approach. Companies like Vivint, who's a major provider of home security, home controls, home monitoring services in the residential security space, Control4, who provides home control automation solutions, iRobot with their robotic vacuum cleaners, now have voice-controlled robotic vacuum cleaners. And all of these solutions are working with a smart speaker, a voice assistant that you can pair together so that even if the voice isn't built directly into the product, the end user, if they have both a smart speaker and one of these products, can still use voice control in their home. Roku also takes a works with approach. They also have a voice remote with voice built right into it, so they're taking a hybrid approach. Wiimote, they make smart plugs. So again, if you think about all of the device types that I just talked about, voice has truly diffused through the home. Let's take a deeper look at smart speakers. Smart speakers are far and away the primary way that consumers are using voice control in their homes. And I want to take a moment to define how Parks Associates categorizes and looks at smart speakers. Different companies may take different approaches, but we classify smart speakers as voice assistants really in their own category. They're speakers first, right? Which means they are consumer electronics devices. But they also enable smart home capabilities and functions by acting as a control interface for the home. So in a way, they're smart home devices too. This makes them such a unique hybrid product that has crossed a divide between smart home devices, by which I mean internet connected versions of a traditional home product, and connected entertainment devices. We've seen very few crossovers from these two areas of the home. Entertainment tends to stay in its silo, smart home kind of stays in its silo, and we haven't seen a lot of really successful crossovers. And the ability for smart speakers to cross that divide and just the multifunctionality of the smart speakers, I think has been very core to this product's success. Speaking of which, smart speakers and smart displays have truly had a phenomenal growth track. We survey 10,000 US broadband households every quarter. So US households that have some sort of high-speed internet. And in Q1 2016, just 3% of these households told us that they owned a smart speaker. In Q1 of this year, in 2020, that number had grown to 45%. So we're closing in on half of all broadband households having a smart speaker in their home, which is pretty incredible. Probably we'll hit that number by the end of this year. And that growth has occurred not only in baseline penetration of households, but also in the number owned per household, meaning that those who own a smart speaker are starting to buy more of them. And in fact, the consumer value proposition for smart speakers and smart displays increases with every device added to the household. So multiple smart speakers or displays in a home unlock certain functionality, right? You can do multi-room audio. You can do voice announcements or a home intercom type approach where you want to call someone, down from their bedroom or talk to somebody in the kitchen, and you can do that using multiple smart speakers in the home, as well as just the ability to have instant access to that voice assistant no matter where you are in the home, that they're available when you have, a control need or a question or want to listen to music. And speaker manufacturers have started to emphasize features that serve use cases unique to certain rooms in the home, So timers for kitchen cooking, alarm clock features for the bedroom, entertainment control for the family room, etc., right? And we've seen prices decline for entry-level speakers, so it's really easier than ever for consumers to make repeat purchases and expand that speaker footprint throughout their home. Now, I want to provide a little context of just what the smart speaker means to the rest of the connected ecosystem in the home. The leading smart home device today, which is the smart thermostat, it's been on the market for over a decade, but it has yet to reach 15% adoption. As of Q4 2019, it's at 13% adoption, network cameras, 12% adoption, smart light bulbs behind them at 10. So for smart thermostats, even with giveaways and subsidization from energy providers, a lot of different utilities and energy providers, right, are saying, if you sign up for this plan, you can have a smart thermostat. Even with that, just now approaching 15% of all broadband households having a smart thermostat. The smart speaker, on the other hand, as I just showed a moment ago, on the market for much less time, nearing in on that critical tipping point of 50% adoption across US broadband households. So a much wider base of usage than some of these other emerging devices in the home. So how are consumers using their smart speakers? We've tested a variety of use cases, and quarter after quarter, consumers continue to tell us that listening to music and requesting information are the top ways that they use their devices. Functional tasks like setting alarms, setting reminders, making lists are also really very common, some of the top skills in use. And if you look at number 6 on the list here, controlling smart devices in your home. So about 20% of all smart speaker owners tell us that they use these devices to control the smart devices in their smart home devices. And a similar percentage, 19%, tell us that they use the device to control entertainment devices as well. So while it's not perhaps the core functionality, the reason that that smart speaker comes into your home for in the first place, right? It's really, you want to listen to music, you want to be able to ask the voice assistant things and get that quick access to information. These are secondary benefits, and they're things that once they're in the home, consumers are starting to use. And in fact, smart speaker owners are much more likely to own smart home devices than the average consumer is. Twice as likely, to be exact. So we're seeing even higher adoption of smart home devices among smart display owners. Now, this isn't totally surprising. Smart displays are still relatively new to the market, which means that consumers who do already own one are likely tech enthusiasts. They're likely early adopters of technology generally, which is pretty common to see in the smart home side as well. So that 10% of consumers who own smart lighting, they're also tech enthusiasts, they're also early adopters, right? So it's not entirely surprising to see such a jump in smart home device ownership among this group as well. But I mean, really, let me emphasize what the data is telling us here is that 3/4 or 78% here of smart display owners right now also own at least one smart home device. I mean, what an opportunity to create compelling cross-device experiences for that group. You know exactly who they are right now and the types of products they have in their home. When we ask consumers, how do you actually control the smart devices in your home? For the first time, really, we're seeing more people say they're using their voice to turn devices on and off than using an app or some other method, right? And that's really a voice first experience. And here's why voice has such promise in the smart home for consumer IoT, right? Well, voice-based assistants are, they're key features of smartphones. I think it's in the smart home where voice interfaces demonstrate their full potential. Smart home adoption continues to be held back by competing protocols, devices that don't work together, fragmentation, just the sheer number of devices that are in the home. All of this creates complexity for the end user. In fact, on average, every household has more than 10 connected devices now. Now that includes smart home devices I was talking about, like smart thermostats, smart lights, smart door locks, but also connected game consoles, smart TVs, streaming media players, smart speakers themselves, right? And voice serves as a key interface to alleviate that complexity and the number of devices and the fragmentation between devices that exists in our homes right now. Now, coordinating devices to do something automatically is a bit of a challenge for smart speakers, especially to do it like to program that directly through your voice. You're likely doing that through an app right now. It is made much easier with a smart display. And really, once that routine or that coordination, that automation is set up, the ability to launch a whole coordinated routine and set that in motion using just your voice is really where consumer IoT and voice control is very clearly going. Now let's take a look at the entertainment side. So like on the smart home side, consumers first think of the simplest actions they want to perform using their voice. So turning the TV on and off, turning the volume up and down, changing channels. And here what we're looking at isn't necessarily what they're using voice for already. We asked all consumers and across all broadband households, whether they owned a smart speaker or not, or use voice or not, what would you most like to control in the sort of entertainment sector using your voice? And that's what they're telling us here, that it's really these simple tasks. When you think about something like this, users can easily understand how this would benefit from them. They can just tell the TV to turn on or turn up the volume from wherever they are in the room, as long as they can be heard. It's a very simple feature that can be incorporated into scenes and routines, like a dinner or a bedtime or a away routine. And it's just, I think, an easier step into voice and something that you can really picture yourself doing when it's a simple task. Many new televisions coming on the market do support these functions. It really highlights a key opportunity for device makers to convince consumers to upgrade their television sets, which has been a bit of a struggle in the TV landscape. There's a huge upgrade cycle that happened with a shift from standard TV to HD TV, and then some buying from HD to, say, 4K TV. 3D TVs never quite drove an upgrade cycle. But now you have smart TV functionality and then voice control functionality as new ways that smart TV manufacturers are trying to differentiate their sets and differentiate the price tiers for their different models. We'll see more and more of that for sure from the TV manufacturers. The final use case I want to dive into here is commerce. So in this survey, we asked consumers who use a personal assistant app, so it could be on their smartphone or a smart speaker, a smart display, how likely they would be to use their voice assistant to order a variety of items. 43% said they're likely or very likely to order food or buy a familiar product via voice command. So although shopping via voice command sounds easy, it's actually pretty difficult for customers to get used to this way of shopping without actually seeing the product beforehand. Voice commerce is most easily used for replenishment purchases of familiar items or making a purchase of a media content that you're already familiar with. You know you want to watch that thing, and so you say, I want to, I approve this purchase, I approve this rental or this download. Smart displays, however, do have the potential to accelerate voice shopping by providing that visual display of products that people are shopping for. And in fact, when we do cut this data among smart display owners specifically, they do show higher likelihood to shop via voice command. And we did do a follow-up to this question saying, well, what's holding you back? What are the barriers to voice shopping? And really that inability to see product options when shopping is absolutely a top impediment. Another major reason is that consumers simply do not want their payment information stored with their personal assistant. Amazon and Google do this already, obviously as a way to add convenience to the process, and consumers might not already realize that if they are Amazon Prime users and if they shop on Amazon generally, is there really much difference there? But yeah, and really, who wants to via voice put your payment information? How tedious is that, right? So it is supposed to be a convenience element, but there's already privacy concerns related to personal assistants anyway. So then asking consumers to take that next step in trusting that voice assistant with their payment information is an even higher barrier to cross, and particularly for those who are not single householders but have a roommate or have kids and are concerned about unauthorized purchasing. So definitely an issue in this use case that still remains to be a barrier, but looks like there is a really nice use case for voice shopping, especially for smart displays. So with that, I just want to wrap up and say, look, we know that music, information requests, reminder type tasks, functional tasks remain the top voice control use cases in the home today, and that consumers most want basic voice controls first, on, off, up, down, change a setting, right? Get something to start or stop it. It's a place that's an easy thing to learn, an easy thing to set up, and an easy thing to visualize. That being said, it's where voice can smooth over complexity where the real value is. So cutting through a whole catalog of media to get directly to the show I want to watch, right? And this reduction of complexity is why voice is so incredibly compelling in the smart home space, where fragmentation and ease of use are major problems. So with that, I want to thank you for your time today and for listening. If you're interested in any of the research I presented and want to see the study's full results, please shoot me an email at jennifer.kent@parksassociates.com. Thank you.